Welcome everyone to the Phoenix Report. I am Jack Connor, and with me is my buddy Seamus Pouts.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And it's that time again. It's one of those really fun times whenever I can have Seamus stop by the house, and we can watch an old episode of Power Rangers.
Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't done this in a while.
And discuss it and critically break it down through adult eyes, which is just. If you've heard some of our other episodes that we've done, we did the pilot, we did the Green Ranger stuff.
Right.
I don't know. Have we done any other ones?
We did Food Fight.
Food Fight is what we did. So we've done a few of them, especially from the first season of this show, which is probably my favorite period of it, because especially these early episodes where they're still figuring out what the show is.
Right.
And really leaning heavily into the Japanese footage.
Yeah, exactly. Really depending on that footage for sure. But it's so far. I mean, I've enjoyed it for what it was and everything like that. But like, I'm looking forward to what you got for me so far.
Oh, for sure. We're gonna get into one for a minute, but before we get into that, as we record this, it is Saturday, May 19th, 2018. For one thing, we've just got back from seeing Deadpool 2.
More on that later.
Yeah, which is great. I don't know when we're going to put this out or post it up, so by the time this is out, we might have our Deadpool 2 review up.
Exactly.
I'm sure we will.
As of right now, we don't, but you never know how the magic of podcasting works.
Yeah,
so.
we are recording from the past. And
exactly. Doing some time traveling.
Right. much like Cable.
Exactly.
So... but we will get to that in a little bit. But let's talk about some of the latest news that we found out.
Right, yeah.
Earlier this month, in May, it was announced that Hasbro bought the Power Rangers franchise, all the rights to it, from Haim Saban for $522 million. Which, Seamus, I don't know how much you had heard about this, but...
I'd heard a little bit. I heard somebody mention it somewhere, and I don't know what to think, to be honest. Like, I don't know, what does that mean for like the movies and everything? Like,
that's a good question.
Yeah.
Because the movie came out last year, the reboot they did. I think it did okay.
Yeah,
it kind of came and went. Like a lot of people don't. I don't think that many people are even aware that like the movie came out.
Right.
I think it was like coming out the same weekend as Beauty and the Beast and a couple other things,
kind of got overshadowed.
Just crushed it. But I mean, I think it ended up making $142 million at the box office. So I think it more than broke even.
Yeah. So it made money, and I think that's probably why Hasbro was eager to buy it and everything. I'm not sure. Now, does this mean that we're gonna get I don't know. My first thought is, okay, so Hasbro is buying the same. It has Transformers as well. Are we going to get a Michael Bay directed Power Rangers movie or something?
I mean, that's not out of the question.
I know.
That's a really good question.
Exactly.
But yeah, for the last 25 years or so, Power Rangers the toys were distributed by a company called Bandai.
Right.
And I don't know what else that they made. They probably made some other Saban.
Bandai, actually, I know a little bit about Bandai Namco. They actually made Tamagotchi. They actually made a couple video games that I really enjoy, like Dark Souls. So that's another game.
Probably a lot of Japanese.
A lot of Japanese stuff and everything.
Makes sense.
The different video game electronic companies and everything. So yeah, they're pretty well known and everything.
Gotcha. And Hasbro, of course, is just it's a huge toy company.
Exactly.
They own Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, and a lot of really like lucrative franchises.
Exactly.
So, I mean, in a way, I think this makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I mean, look, let's be honest. Power Rangers is essentially a giant toy commercial.
That's
really what the show was meant to be. I mean, as was Transformers, the original show. And
I will say this.
No disrespect to the hardcore fans of Transformers and Power Rangers even.
Of course not.
We're just calling it like we see it.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm kind of excited as far as even the toy designs and like the character designs of what Hasbro is going to bring to the table. I mean, maybe they'll do some cool like redesigns and everything that we'll see. Like I know Goldar in the movie didn't look that impressive and everything, so maybe they'll do some different redesigns and everything. So that's exciting. So we'll get to see something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's always a possibility. I don't know. Because, like, in terms of, like, whether the reboot is going to get a sequel or not, I don't know how well...
Yeah.
I mean, I figure if the toy sales were hot enough for the toy line that came out that tied into the movie, I don't have the numbers with me in front of that,
right?
Or even all the detail, but like I imagine if it definitely made some money on the toys, then there's a chance that there's a good chance that they might make
exactly.
another one.
And you know, I kind of hope that whatever they do, they bring back those actors, like the actors that they got for the Power Rangers movie. That was the best part.
They were
the characters
solid.
Were awesome. Like I loved what they did. They actually developed the characters really well.
I know the girl who played Kimberly in the movie, Naomi Scott. I think she's going to be in the new Aladdin live action movie.
Oh, cool! Awesome.
I think she's going to be Jasmine. So.
Sweet. That's awesome.
So I mean, you know, the other actors are. I mean, some of them are at least doing some stuff.
Right.
Ludi Lin has been in a few other things. I'm trying to remember.
Which one was that?
He was Zach.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, he's been in a few other things. I don't have his information with me, but
right.
Yeah, we figured we'd talk about that for a little bit. To me, Hasbro working with Power Rangers, it makes sense.
Yeah, as far from a toy distribution perspective, absolutely.
Like they know how to make money with these properties. I mean,
exactly.
Look, whether you love them or hate them, that's why they keep making Transformer movies.
Transformers and My Little Pony are two things that like in the past were huge and have made a resurgence.
And brought back around. Yeah.
So like Hasbro knows what they're doing as far as like making
the cartoon show, the My Little Pony thing.
I've heard good things. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I mean, you know. Look, I mean,
no disrespect
to the bronies out there. Yeah. I know they're out there. I don't really know much about that whole deal.
But the fact that the term brony is like a popular thing shows how well this toy company does.
Yeah,
I mean,
it would be interesting to talk to like one of those guys and
for sure.
Because like supposedly they have a really strong fan base with like adult men, which seems a little weird. But I mean, look,
I get it.
Yeah,
kind of like I'm sure. From what I've heard, I've talked to people that have watched the show, and apparently it has a really interesting, like, almost transcendent plot and everything that's got, like, some really interesting lore and everything. But I grew up at a time where pink was for girls and everything, so it's just, I'm not gonna be that guy who watches My Little Pony. I mean, that's just kind of my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's 2018, we're open-minded. I mean, there are a lot of different cats out there, so, I mean, look, if you dig My Little Pony, if you're not
disrespect,
as long as you're not hurting anyone, you know, pony it up, man. Do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
I mean, look, there are a lot of like grown people who are Power Rangers fans who like go to the conventions and stuff and who are really into it. And I mean, you know, as far as like future movies or even future series and stuff, like the Power Rangers comic books are like have been really well received.
Really,
like Boom Studios is the publisher.
Okay.
And they've got a guy named Kyle Higgins who's writing this story called Shattered Grid.
Okay.
And he used to write for DC. Like he wrote for Nightwing.
So he's got some credits and everything
for other stuff. And I've been hearing a lot of good things about that. So who knows? Maybe they might adapt some of that material for a movie or maybe even a Netflix series.
See, that's kind of the way to go with a lot of this stuff too. I feel like that, like a kind of a more adult centric. Power Rangers Netflix series would be kind of interesting.
For sure. I mean, as far as I know, Nickelodeon I think is still airing the regular show. Like, and they're still adapting the Super Sentai stuff from.
I didn't even know that was still going on.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. No, they're still doing that. Like Nickelodeon has had it for a while, and let's just put this into perspective: the history of Power Rangers, because. Haim Saban had sold it to Disney a bunch of years back.
Right. It was on Disney XD for a while. I do remember that.
And then it wasn't making a lot of money for a while. Saban bought it back for like pennies on the dollar.
Right.
And then still kept it going. I guess got Nickelodeon to do the TV rights. And now has like flipped it for $522 million.
I mean, he's making like. Haim Saban's making money,
and I think
hand over fist.
And I think they still like kept him on as like an executive consultant.
Oh, for sure. His name's going to be on an executive producer credit like till they stop making whatever.
For sure. Like this, and I think he actually got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh, did he
recently?
That makes sense.
Which is crazy. I mean, it's like he's one of these guys, man. It's like, man, like this dude just knows how to make money.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like,
exactly. I mean, it's just like he knows.
I mean, either he sold his soul to the devil, or like, because like, dude,
like he knows he's got a good way of like knowing what he's got and everything, and knowing how to use it and everything, which is great. I mean, good for him, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, say what you will about the product, but like, he made it happen. So, the guy's either the devil or my hero. So, I'm not sure.
Why not both? No, that's...
yeah. Maybe a little bit of both.
Exactly.
But so we decided to go back and I think we're gonna go back to an episode in the first season.
Okay.
Which, you know, Seamus and I already did the Green Ranger stuff.
That was great. Like, I really enjoyed that.
There was a thing in there called the Rad Bug that Billy invented.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. One of his little inventions that he had.
I wanted to go back to the episode that had the first appearance of that.
Oh, wait, that was the VW, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome, great.
So, because like we had watched that without watching this one, and you were like, "What is going on?" I'm like, "Dude, Billy made a flying car. It's a long story.
It's a whole thing."
Yeah, it's so. We're going to go back and watch episode 7 of season 1.
Okay, wow, they brought it on early on then, huh?
Yeah, episode 7, season 1, episode 7, entitled Big Sisters.
Okay.
And the original air date was September 30th, 1993.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so relatively early on in the first season.
Right.
So we're going to get into it. We're going to hit pause, we're going to watch, we're going to take notes, and then we are going to break it down for you.
Sounds good.
So let's get into it. All right, and we're back. So,
yeah.
Seamus, how'd you enjoy Big Sisters?
I have some thoughts.
Oh, I'll bet you do.
Yeah.
As usual, there's definitely a lot to unpack in this one.
Wow, that one was an interesting one for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically your standard, you know, first episode. First season episode. I should say.
They had some new things to uncover and everything.
Relatively self-contained. So we open on at the youth center, of course, the gym and juice bar.
Right.
You know, again, I always say this every time, but like the business model of this place,
I don't understand it.
I don't understand how they
really
make money.
I don't. It's just like, and they're sitting there. People are eating eating ice cream on this side. It's not healthy. It's not like a yogurt.
Yeah.
It's legit,
completely
like Sundays and stuff.
Completely unregulated.
Yeah, exactly.
So we open. We go in there and we see Jason and Zach. They're just doing some sparring.
Right.
Some light to no contact sparring. No protective gear on. But I mean that's
I mean that's fine.
That's not totally abnormal for a martial arts training thing if they're practicing.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't have any experience in that area, but yeah, you do, and so I guess.
Yeah, so that's not totally unusual.
Right.
I noticed like Zach didn't have a shirt on.
Oh.
Which again, it's not really a big deal because like especially young guys, like they'll.
For sure.
Every time you've seen like a high school track team, there's always like one or two dudes running with no shirt.
Exactly.
It
happens and everything.
But I mean,
the opening of the episode was pretty standard.
The thing about that, the thing why I brought that up, is just knowing what we know now about Hollywood.
Yeah.
Do you think they're telling Walter Jones like, "Hey Zach, why don't you take your shirt off?" there?
Oh gosh, man.
Why don't you come over here for a little bit?
That's another benefit of looking at this show from fresh eyes.
Yeah, and so I mean, who knows?
That just adds to the problems I have with this episode.
It would not shock me if stuff like that was going on.
Right.
For
sure. I mean, I'm sure it happened on a lot of TV sets and everything like that.
Especially the way these guys treated poor David Yost later on in the series.
I was thinking about that as we were watching the show and everything like that. That sucks. It really does.
So there's that, and we find out that Kim and Trini are looking around for a little girl named Maria.
A little 12-year-old girl,
we're meant to believe that she's 12 years old. I think they play it as her being like younger, like almost 8 to 10.
Yeah, that's the actress or the actual actress that they got did not look 12. She looked about like 10. Like I think she plays it.
I mean, I should say like they play it in terms of her personality.
Yeah,
I believe that maybe the actress may have been 12. But they tried to make her a little more girlish,
right,
and more like like, oh, boys are icky and stuff like that. We kind of do that later on, and I think by 12, most girls kind of grow out of that. Or
there's some. It all depends.
I mean, it's hard to tell.
It all depends. We cut to this part where I think they're like there's like the bathroom.
Let's get to that in a second.
Okay.
But they're looking for this little girl Maria. Kim and Trini are, because apparently they're serving as like big sisters, and I guess this is all happening after school because they're watching like these two teenage girls are supervising a younger kid. So immediately I have a bunch of questions about that. Like, first of all, where are Maria's parents? Like, I'm assuming this is on like a weekday afternoon after school.
And that she's just hanging out with two teenage girls through a big sister program, apparently.
Yeah, which again, it's not like they're babysitting.
No.
Because normally that would happen like on a weekend or something. And second, like big sisters, they usually do that for like kids who maybe don't have a father at home or maybe are like problem children or something. Which, I mean, I guess does explain like what she ends up doing in the beginning of the episode. They
kind of give us a little something like she may be like a but they don't really go into it later.
I've got a lot of questions about this big sister, big brother program.
Just like every other business in this town, which is just questionable activity.
It's another of the many things that Kim and Trini have volunteered for, as if they don't have a full enough plate being high school kids.
Hey, man.
Probably doing after-school sports or whatever else, and also being superheroes.
Exactly. I mean, you got to make time, I guess. Somehow.
So they're doing that. They find, they meet up with the guys there,
right?
And they're like, yeah, we're looking for this girl. They've lost her. So immediately they don't have any control of this girl. Yeah. So that's a red flag right there.
Yeah, that's a problem for being in a big sisters program. Like,
which again, I kind of blame more on the parents, really, because like you're trusting these older children, these slightly older children to look after your child. Like things like this might happen. So like I almost put that more on the parents than I do with Kim and Trini, because like the kid got lost and they're a little in over their heads, being responsible for another human being.
Exactly.
So. We cut to like, and of course, this being a gym, obviously they would have like locker rooms, and showers, and stuff like that. And which I don't know if this is connected to the school or not. True. It seems like it might be.
Yeah, I'm not
because it doesn't seem like a big enough gym where they'd have like a huge like big locker room, unless it was like connected to the school somehow for like gym class.
I mean. I guess that could just be the business model of the actual gym and like the fact that they have like a locker room. That really wasn't like that didn't bother me too much. I guess. I mean, that kind of makes sense a little bit.
So, but the camera cuts around and we find what Maria's doing. She is apparently snuck off, and there's a giant. And rather than being a boiler room somewhere that controls the temperature of the water,
a giant like pipe with a red like valve somewhere and out in the open.
Yeah, it's again, I don't know who designed this
controlling the entirety of the hot water of the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty big design flaw. Why would you have that out there in the hallways? And you know it because it has a sign that says hot water heater. So you kind of know where this is going. Maria, being the mischievous little scamp that she is, I guess turns all the hot water off.
Right.
Either, and again, we're not sure exactly what happened. She either turned the hot water off or like turned it up to like scalding level.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the other, I'm not sure which one. They didn't really determine.
No, they didn't specify, but apparently it's enough where you have all these dudes start running out of the locker room hysterical. And we're assuming these actors have to be in like their mid-20s because these are all like buff, like muscle up dudes.
That's always the thing. I always notice. I was thinking about this the other day. They always like cast like Hollywood doesn't know that in the 90s Hollywood didn't know that teenagers existed. Like they had like these 20-year-olds.
Like, I mean, it's probably for the good thing because they're probably for the best because they're running out of a locker room. We're assuming that these guys were in there taking a shower, which. By the way, like it must have been a busy day there because there were like a ton of these dudes.
Exactly. This must have been like a Friday or something. I don't know.
So it was a packed shower, which I don't even really want to imagine that. But they're all like running out of the locker room hysterical. But they took the time to cover themselves with towels, and they all have like giant like soap like pieces of soap on their head. So like. Again, none of that makes sense.
No, none of it. I mean, none of it does.
If that happened, first of all, they would not run like screaming out of the locker room.
Yeah, they would just need to like run out of the shower itself. They wouldn't even need to like run to the bathroom.
Maybe have like one dude cover himself with a towel and be like, "Yo, what happened to the hot water?"
Exactly.
And
we should direct it.
But no, they're all running out and like. And of course, like the Rangers, they're sitting there and they're just being total dicks about it, just laughing, like point at them and laugh.
Right. So kind of some innocent fun.
I feel like, and again, probably the same director who probably told Zach to take his shirt off was probably like thinking like, okay, we need to have these dudes run out of the shower. Like, they just wanted to have them run out there butt naked, like dicks flopping around. That they secretly wanted to do that.
Guys, this is a kid show. I don't think
but they couldn't because it's a kid show. But like, if there was going to be a huge manic hysteria because the water, like the heat shut off, enough for these guys to run out into the open.
Right.
Like, they wouldn't take time to cover themselves up.
You're right.
If it was, like, that serious where they needed to do it. Like, if there was a monster in there.
We're led to believe that, for
But they have the giant, like, cartoonish, like, soap. Like, it's complete Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it's just it's a big cartoon scene, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Is what it is. I mean, that's what this show is.
And, of course, the camera pans over and they see Maria over there.
Yeah.
And, of course, Kim and Trini say in unison, Maria!
Oh, wah, wah.
Yeah, it's that kind of moment.
It really is.
So, we're established that Maria's... She gets into a little bit of trouble.
She's a troublemaker, apparently.
Yeah, so maybe...
kind of explains why she's part of the Big Sisters program.
Again, maybe, there are some deeper issues there. Like the whole thing about being a prankster when you're a kid, like, I was never really into that as a kid. I don't know if you... Like... I feel like people who are seriously into like pranks and practical jokes are like sociopaths in the making.
Yeah, like, I've definitely seen
borderline.
It's like they try to get it's like they try to get a laugh, but they don't consider the consequences of what or how their actions affect other people.
Like, it's such a dick move.
It really is.
I feel like in 10 years, like, I pranked her to death with a tire iron. I just snuck up behind her and just pranked her right in the face.
Just pranked her and stuffed her in a plastic bag. Like, seriously. Like, yeah, I've never really understood your parents. Yeah, I've never really understood. I mean, I know it's funny and it's fun, fun to laugh at other people getting hurt or whatever, but I've never been one to like prank people with malice.
So, hey, it's your baby. Oh, just pranked you. Oh my god. Like, that's like that's like the next step.
Like those people who do like the April Fool's pranks like that and everything like that. That's just so fucked up. Like, seriously, I don't even know.
You got to raise this kid now. Oh. But we spent quite a few minutes on that. And again, this is just the first 5 minutes of this episode.
We're still not even into the, like, we still haven't seen the monster or anything like that.
So, let's get into the plot. We cut to the moon base.
First of all, did we already hear her talk yet at this point?
Yes, I think... Oh, wait.
The girl.
No, we're not to that yet.
All right, go ahead.
So, we cut to the moon base, and I guess, Rita is up there, as usual, just watching these kids.
Right.
Just trying to formulate her next plan and
something to do with a monster. Or
and I think just saying that she can't stand children.
Yeah, says something.
And she refers to the Rangers as do-gooders, which is just one of my favorite like.
That's such a great like typical villain line,
like kids TV villain line. Do-gooders. You never really hear anyone say that.
How do they consider that an insult? Like it's so funny. It's
like, you're such a good person.
You good person.
Yeah.
You. Go save a cat out of a tree or something.
Goody two-shoes, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Do-gooders. That's just... I really liked that in particular. So they cut back to the youth center,
right.
And Maria is just having some ice cream, and Kim and Trini are like kind of getting, not really all that stern with her, but like, hey, you shouldn't have done that.
Right.
That wasn't a good thing to do. And Maria talks, and we immediately... And again, the actress, the child actress, was most certainly non-union because they don't. I can't find like what her name was. It was probably like one of the people on the cruise, like kids.
Yeah, exactly.
That they probably
usually how they
put
did.
out there, and They dubbed over her voice in ADR, which is clearly an adult woman.
It was just an adult woman doing a not great impression. Like you could tell she took some acting classes and she learned how to do a little kid's voice like off the cuff. It was like really overacted and everything.
Yeah, just probably one of their staff of voice actors.
It was just awful. Like it was just very. I found it really off-putting. I don't know. It's just like
I don't think it was so much her performance, just the fact that it was so like the looping on it was just
right.
It
was so obvious.
It didn't
that it was,
sound like.
Do we at least get a voice credit from her?
Yeah. The voice actress was named Wendy Lee.
Okay.
And she's done a few different voices on the show, as you'd imagined.
Okay. She did Alpha 5?
No, she did Alpha 6, which is like a later season character.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And did Scorpina, one of the that villain.
I think we did watch her, didn't we?
Yeah, that was in the Green Ranger stuff.
That's right.
Found Scorpina. Mm-hmm. So they're like, Maria, why did you do that? She says, I just wanted to get your attention. Which is like an amazing. It's so weird. It's like it's an amazingly mature beat for emotionally mature thing for this kid to see like, wow, maybe I just have some unresolved issues. Yeah. I just need to get.
You gotta love that. It's like
wow, Maria's like she's mischievous, but she's also like very self-aware.
Exactly. Like a actual kid's answer to that would be, I don't know,
because it was funny. Yeah,
exactly. Because it was funny. Yeah,
or
exactly.
It's like if you want to take it, I wanted to see some dick. Oh my God. I want to see some of these guys walk out.
Oh
like,
my
come
God.
on.
Exactly.
I'm going to hell for that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a part of this.
No. Seamus had nothing to do with that.
I had nothing to do with this. No, it was fine. But yeah, it's just like one of those things where it's just she gave a really self-aware answer, which I thought was
it was. So then we cut back to Rita's base, and she wants to find these things called the power eggs,
right? Which
is just like one of the latest MacGuffin things that is out there somewhere. Mm-hmm. These like sacred jewels that are in egg form for some reason.
I guess. I mean,
yeah. So they go down to this cave and they get them. They're looking for these things, which they know exactly where they are, but they can't open like the treasure chest it's in,
right?
Because apparently only the innocence of a child can open these.
And now everything makes sense.
Solid plan.
Yeah, and now everything makes sense. Now we see why the show introduced the little kid. Now we kind of know where this is going.
So they go back to the base and they're thinking like, okay, we need to get a child. Mm-hmm. We need to kidnap a child to open this to get these big powerful gems so we can defeat the Power Rangers.
Right.
So, rather than like sneak in and just kidnap a random kid, why don't we make a giant chicken monster?
Yes,
because
that totally makes sense.
As if that thing is supposed to lure a kid in. Like, kids are going to run screaming for
Kids
that.
love chickens, right?
Right? Like, how is that supposed to lure in a child?
I don't know.
Maybe even like get a clown or something like that might be. I don't know. It's just
the logic is not sound.
Yeah, no, and like Finster just kind of goes along with it. He's like, all right, well, I've got one of those on tap if you need it.
Of course he does. I mean, he did have the pig as well, so I mean, they've got the whole farm.
I figure like Finster is just phoning it in at this point. He's just like he knows like Rita's nuts, but he just goes along with it because that's his job.
It's a paycheck, man.
He's like,
fine. Here's a chicken.
You want the chunky chicken? Okay, I got one of those.
Sure,
that's fine. And she's like, you better be right, Finster, or you'll spend your days as a sea slug.
Oh, yeah, then she throws that line in there just for whatever reason.
Yeah, which is just, it's another one of those throwaway lines that, like, passes for dialogue.
And he doesn't even react, because he knows. He's just probably like, I work for a crazy person.
He's like, yeah, you'll be beaten again, and nothing's going to happen.
It'll be the same thing next week.
Exactly. So then they cut down to like a park, which I'm assuming it looks like the same park that they usually go to for every episode. So Kim and Trini decide to take Maria out to a picnic.
Right.
Kind of a nice thing after school. Mm-hmm. They're out there, they're having some food, and they're talking to her.
Right.
And Maria's telling about like how her dad tries to be friends with her, but like he doesn't really understand. Which, first of all, it's a good thing that she has a dad in the picture.
Yeah. That's definitely good.
But like maybe like I don't know, maybe there's a backstory there with Maria somewhere.
Yeah,
I feel like there's some darker stuff happening at her house that we're not that we're not privy to.
Maybe. I don't know if that's kind of what they meant or anything like that. Of course, I just looked at it like face value and everything. I just feel like in my mind they just have this kid and like they're just trying to give her reasons, like a half-assed reason for
like maybe she's an only child, maybe she got spoiled, and they're just like, hey,
that could be it as well.
You know, we don't know if mom's in the picture. Maybe it's a single dad trying to raise her, and just be like, hey, we need some female role models for my daughter.
That would probably be a good reason.
You know, these two girls seem like nice girls, so let's do that. So.
I have no idea. Like
again, we are so overthinking.
We're filling in the blanks that they just didn't feel like.
I don't want to think that there's like some abuse going on with Maria.
No,
I really hope not.
I don't think so. She didn't. That I don't think that was implied. I hope not. I don't know.
No, but the abuse is about to come because the Putty Patrol shows up.
They're out of nowhere
as per usual. Now, you would think like they've been Power Rangers for probably a couple weeks at this point,
right?
You would think like Kim and Trini would like carry some weapons on them or something just in case.
Right? Like when they're not Power Rangers, they don't actually have any weapons that they use.
Like this is not the first time they've been like the putties have gotten the drop on them when they're just out as civilians.
It happens pretty much anytime they're out in the open.
Pretty much.
Like, they go outdoors. If they leave Jim and Juice, they can pretty much guarantee that putties are coming.
Yeah, you would think they would like either like carry like some weapons in their purses or something, like some pepper spray, a rape whistle, something
like nunchucks, something. Like seriously.
Like, look, I don't mean to piss anyone off politically, but carry some guns on them.
True.
Like, get the NRA on this deal. Like,
that would solve a lot of their problems,
right? Like,
if Trini were packing, she got a pink Glock in her purse or whatever.
Right?
That'd solve all the problems with the putties for sure.
I'm just saying. Like, look, I'm not trying to piss off any of the political listeners here,
but it seems like a simple solution,
right? Like, I'm just saying. That's
They are underage, though. We don't care.
Read into that what you will.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if they pass a background check. Who knows?
True.
But so they fight off the putties, but the putties, two of them manage to grab Maria and head off. So, so unfortunately they couldn't keep Maria from being kidnapped.
Of course not, because they need her to be whatever, like the key to the treasure chest thing.
Yeah,
so,
so
that happens.
That's what they need. So,
and at this point, nobody's changed into a Power Rangers yet, so we still have about 20 minutes of the episode left, or like 10 minutes. So yes, of course.
Yeah, I'm not even sure where it is in the episode. But they go back to the youth center because the boys are still there.
Right.
It looks like they're after a workout. Ernie is serving them some like giant dessert plate. I don't know if you've seen that, but
look, post-workout meals are a thing.
Yeah, I get that you're hungry after it, and I've been guilty of not eating as great after I work out.
True.
Again, I've seen.
Seems
I've
odd.
been to like diners. Like there was a place near where I grew up in Delaware.
Right.
It was called the Charcoal Pit. It was like a diner, a really cool restaurant, and they would have like specialty desserts like that, where it's like you get like a big dessert for like a group,
right?
And it'd just be like a giant like confection of like ice cream and banana split and chocolate syrup and stuff. And it looks like that's
huge thing.
Yeah, it looks like that's what Ernie is serving to Billy, Zach, and Jason. It looks like they're about to split it
at a gym, though.
Yeah, again, that's what blows my mind. This is at a gym.
Yeah.
You're supposed to like teach these kids like,
and I don't want to judge too much, but for being a gym, the guy serving the food,
Ernie is morbidly obese.
Yeah, I'm just like sitting there like, okay, maybe you're not getting the right message across. Like,
and this is supposed to be a gym for like young people, teenagers.
Right.
Like, you think, again, it just makes.
I don't want to judge too much, but I don't know. You got your image to think about as
right. Like we're not trying to fat shame Ernie over here,
no.
But it's like, come on, dude. Like you're running a gym.
I mean, if you were like one of those bigger like gym dudes, power lifters or whatever, but no, this guy's like in a Hawaiian shirt and he's serving up giant sundaes. I was like, okay, maybe rethink something. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, look, this is supposed to be on the West Coast. Ernie has like a Brooklyn accent. I feel like he might be on the run from the mob. I mean, I'm just
now we're going to talk about dark pasts.
I'm not trying to stereotype. I feel like Ernie's in witness protection program.
You think that Jim and Juice is like a front for something?
I mean,
I think so.
I'm not saying it's not that. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of shady stuff that goes on at Ernie's Jim and Juice.
Just a lot in the background. A lot happening.
A lot of like free child labor that goes on there. Because they're always helping him out with stuff. So they go back, they find the boys, and so they're like, okay, the kid's been kidnapped. Rita's done it. We need to call Zordon and get him on it. So they go to their watches, the wrist communicators. They try to contact Zordon.
No signal.
The network is down. Now, I don't know. This seems to happen somewhat regularly on the show.
Right.
I feel like where it's like the network is down. I don't know. I don't know if it's like Alpha is just not good at IT over there.
I think it might be what it is.
This is supposed to be like super advanced alien technology they're dealing with, but the network is down, so they can't.
They didn't go into a reason why the network was down, did they?
No, they really didn't.
Wow, that was super convenient. Like,
no.
Oh my goodness.
So they can't contact Zordon. Billy goes like, you know what, guys? I've got a solution. So they go to Billy's house, where we are introduced to the rad bug.
The rad bug.
Now, I could spend an entire episode on just how insane the rad bug is.
Yeah.
And the thing with the rad bug, like they've used, the reason why they've used it in there is because that car is used in the Zoo Ranger footage.
Oh, I didn't notice actually.
Like again, it belongs to a completely like different character who shows up in a couple episodes. I don't want to go into that backstory.
Gotcha.
But like, that is taken from the Japanese footage.
That makes sense now.
But like obviously they got a car just like that for the American footage.
Exactly. They got the VW, but that's funny.
I'm just seeing like they went to a lot of trouble to use that footage. And to like make new footage for like essentially like something that really didn't need to be there.
That's true. Like, why? There's no real reason for it, and like they could have just as easily cut it out. I feel like
right.
I don't see why it was necessary.
And all it does is just open up just more in questions like, how did Billy invent a goddamn flying car?
It's like some Jimmy Neutron, Dexter's Laboratory level stuff.
I mean, this just lends to all the questions that I have about Billy.
Yeah.
Like, who are his parents? Like, where does he get the money for this?
Yeah, oh, wow.
I swear, Billy is like Tony Stark level genius.
Yeah, for sure. If he's what, like supposed to be like 16 in the show?
Yeah, in 1993, we don't have flying cars now.
No, we do not, unfortunately.
This thing... I mean, again, first of all, I don't know how he affords to get like an old VW Bug. Maybe he's got like a line in on like an old like junk shop.
Yeah,
or something
exactly. Getting a classic car, first of all, or a classic VW Bug would be hard enough as it is for a 16-year-old. Second of all,
and he says this not only does it fly, but it goes from 0 to 3,000 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds.
0 to unrealistic number in 3 seconds.
Look, I'm not an engineer.
No,
I'm not a physicist. I mean, I don't know if like we have like F-18 Hornets that do.
No. Oh.
I don't know. Like I don't know if that's Mach 5 or supersonic. I don't know.
Off the top of my head, I can't tell, but it just sounds. First of all, it sounds like you couldn't survive that kind of thing, and like the T-shirt and jeans, which of course they're wearing in this thing.
Yeah, like they really like put out that specific number for it.
Yeah, exactly. It just made it sound fast.
You know,
like it's just,
and I guess he has like a GPS tracker in there in 1993.
Yeah,
that wasn't
What's
really
that about.
They didn't really have a lot of those, and well, I mean, to be fair, it's like they didn't have cell phones, so they couldn't, so that's why they didn't. Well, I mean, they did have cell phones, they just weren't readily available. But
exactly,
that would have even been more realistic than this.
This car, man.
They could have got like a big giant like Zach Morris cell phone and called him up.
It would have been easier for the company just to cut out the footage of the stupid rad bug than to throw it in and just cause all these issues.
Which makes me think, I guess the command center is relatively nearby.
It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably out in the California desert somewhere. Mm-hmm. So they get in the rad bug.
Right.
It flies.
Yeah.
And they just drop right into the command center, right through the hole in the top of it.
That's convenient.
No security systems on there.
Well, they were down for maintenance or something. They were down because Alpha 5 was like, "Oh, hey guys!" Like he's just like,
yeah, it's just like, what? An old car? I don't get it. Even Alpha's confused at this point. Zordon doesn't really question it. He's like, "Look, never mind that. We got a kidnapped kid."
Never mind. We need to figure out why the communications are down. No, never mind that. We got to go ahead and keep going.
Which is an appropriate response, because at that point it's like, look, there's a kid kidnapped. We'll figure out Billy's weird flying car thing later. We got a job to do.
Point. Yeah, exactly.
So he goes into this this whole backstory about what Rita's trying to do, and and apparently millions of years ago there were these guys called the Morphin Masters.
So millions of years ago, English existed, and they're called the Morphing Masters.
Yeah, humans existed on planet Earth.
Oh my gosh!
And they were these sorcerers called the Morphin Masters, which is Japanese footage. That's what this is
exactly.
And in Zoo Ranger, they were like dinosaur eggs.
That makes more sense. I mean, that makes sense.
So you kind of run
prehistoric and everything. Yeah.
So they were trying to use the Zoo Ranger footage to create this fakakta backstory.
Exactly. This backstory that doesn't mean anything. That it's not really even necessary.
The Morphin
for
Masters and the Power Eggs, which are supposedly very powerful, as you'd imagine.
I guess.
So they're like, we need to return them to the sea so Rita can't have them. And which is like, why don't you just store them in the command center or in a secure location?
Yeah, exactly.
We have these big MacGuffin, power eggs out there.
So many questions. So
they get back into the rad bug and they drive to wherever. So it's you have this mix of the Japanese footage and the American footage. Where it's it looks like they're in the car, so they're out just driving in a back lot somewhere.
Right, and so at the same time they're showing footage of the actual of the monsters and everything, having some female actor who was supposed to be Maria.
Yeah,
but
it clearly cuts to a scene where it's and it makes sense why Maria is in the outfit she is. She has the dark hair, the pigtails, the skirt and all that, because it's supposed to match a little Japanese girl.
Right, exactly. And there's a couple scenes where you actually get a shot of her face, and it's obviously not the same actress.
Which begs the question, why didn't they just hire a little Japanese girl?
That's a good point.
Or a little Asian actress.
That's a good point.
To play her in the American footage,
They could have still used the same voice actress to dub over her.
Right?
Why not?
I mean...
They could have picked anybody.
But which lends to my theory that she must have been somebody's kid on the set.
I want to have my kid on the Power Rangers show. Put her on the Power Rangers. Okay.
Yeah, so it must have been that.
Because that always goes well.
Or just some random, child actress that they found who's willing to work for non-union.
Exactly.
Probably paid their parents in cocaine or something. I don't know what happened.
It's California in the 90s, man.
You know what?
Why not?
They were so off the grid. I could spend an entire episode talking about that.
Oh man, that'll be fun. The dark side of the Power Rangers.
Oh god, I want that documentary to be made so bad. What happened on that show?
Seriously.
Yeah. So we see that the car pulls up. And we don't see the Rangers actually get out of the car. Mm-hmm. But they morph and they go into action. They start fighting Goldar and the Chunky Chicken,
right?
The monster. Rita actually is there for a split second on her flying penny farthing old timey bike.
Yeah, we got some wicked. That's not the first time we've seen her on that thing, right?
No, she had that in the pilot.
That's right.
So I was like, wow, she got there really fast,
especially on that thing,
right?
Talk about 0 to 3,000.
She was pedaling her ass off. She must have been in spin class or something. I don't know. But
exactly.
So they do that, and they have Maria up in this trap. They rigged her up to this big string that she's hanging off a telephone pole or something, and then he's about to get these giant scissors. The Chunky Chicken is floating.
Yeah.
And is about to cut her.
He's got these scissors, these comically huge scissors that are the size of garden shears, pretty much.
They decide to summon the Megazord.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
Which seems a little premature because the monster isn't even giant yet.
I feel like they could have taken him.
With their weapons, they could have blown him up. It didn't seem like he was, defeating him that bad.
They were going all shock and awe on these guys. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But it's well, now you have the Zords there. Blast him out of the sky.
Exactly. They just kind of
get Rita and Goldar and all them while they're at it, because they're on the ground too. You take out the big bad right there, but they don't. They just say, you better let her go, and
they point at it with the giant Zord finger for whatever. It's just
so he cuts the rope and Maria falls to the ground. Megazord reaches out with the hand, grabs her, and cool. Sets her down on the ground.
An obvious shot of the little Asian actress that they had.
Then they cut to the American footage because they have the rad bug, which is apparently remote controlled.
Right.
That's another level to the rad we don't know about.
Not only remote controlled, I don't think it showed who is the smart one?
Billy.
Yeah, I don't think it showed Billy actually controlling it. So this is like AI. This is AI implied,
right?
On
like
this
it's
thing.
Self-driving cars.
Exactly. Like it's basically every car in the future ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
In 1990, like, we don't really have that now. Like, I guess self-driving cars are
kind of a thing,
something that's being worked on, but like.
So this again, it's just causing every single scene that this thing is in it's causing like questions and everything.
It's completely bonkers. But and you also clearly see someone driving the car,
right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like blacked out and everything, but they're there for sure.
Yeah. So. They do that, so Rita makes the chicken giant, and it's your standard Megazord fight, really. It lasts about 3 minutes.
This one was cool, though. One thing that did stand out for me was the chicken, actually, the scissors.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was kind of undersold a little bit. The scissors actually cut through reality and caused, like, portals for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It, like, did it, like, twice.
It was almost like a little wormhole effect, which...
I feel like that was really cool, and they should have focused on that a little, or developed it or something. But it's just like there for 2 seconds, and then
like I mean, if you have something like that at play, then it becomes a lot more dangerous.
Exactly. I just thought it was cool for the second that they had it on there.
Right. Like thankfully they're not. Thankfully, they're not like downtown, so like I don't think too many people died in this one.
Exactly, they were out in the canyon or whatever near that warehouse and everything, so they were fine. Like
I don't think anyone died. Maybe a little bit of property damage in this one.
You know, it is what it is when you have a giant Zord and a giant chicken fight.
Sure,
you're gonna have some collateral a little bit.
Right. So
we've all been there.
They defeat the chicken. You know, and that's it. You know, Rita goes back to her thing. She's pissed off at Finster,
right,
as usual. They're all blaming him. And meanwhile, like, I wish he would say is like, you wanted the chicken. Like,
yeah, Goldar says there was such a lame thing. It's like, you guys want. She said chicken.
I did what you asked.
Exactly. This guy.
What do you want?
He needs to go to HR or something, man. Poor guy.
Right? Like, he needs a new job. Like, he's not... It's a toxic workplace environment.
It really is. It's just like... And then Rita has a headache for some reason. Of course.
She always has a headache.
Because she's a woman or something. I don't even know.
She wants to get some aspirin. Yeah, I feel like that's, like...
implied.
I feel like that was a joke on the writer's part, where it's like, oh, she's just like my wife. She always has a headache.
Oh, hey-o!
Because it's like...
It's dumb.
This is clearly written by 50-year-old men
at the time, so
exactly.
It's like, who have no concept of what teenagers actually act like.
Of course. That'll be funny with the kids, right?
With the kids! With the youth!
Right.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the part of the episode that pissed me off the most.
Yeah, well, like... A lot of what that ended up was like leftover footage from the pilot episode.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Because it really had nothing to do with the rest of the story.
You're right, it didn't.
We go back to the youth center, and like the only thing that like ties into what we saw was like Ernie is there with a bunch of people. They're watching the news. Everyone's gathered around this little TV.
Right.
Ernie is always like talking to like some young teenage girls in there, which is something I noticed. Which I'm someone needs to keep their eyes on Ernie
for sure, man. He's got some issues for sure.
Yeah. Again, that lends credence to my theory about Ernie might not be all he seems.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a past for sure.
Right. So he's talking to these girls who are probably like. At most, like 19, 20. You know.
And so we're watching this.
We're watching the news, and I guess it's the local news. It's probably not like MSNBC or like because it's the 90s. They don't quite have all the 24-hour news stations just yet. Besides like CNN, and so mentions like, oh, by the way, the Power Rangers saved us again, just like as an aside from one of Rita's evil monsters. Which is kind of a generic like news clip, but they do cut to Maria.
Right.
Like being interviewed or whatever. So that's the only thing that ties it to the rest of the episode. The rest of it is, which I looked it up, it is definitely some outtakes from the pilot episode or like unused footage.
Exactly. Basically, what they have is like Bulk and Skull. They're just kind of...
Yeah, which is another thing. Like, we don't really see Bulk and Skull at all in this episode, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, it's cool. They don't always have to be on.
Which, like, thank God, because they're probably the most annoying part of the show, or the most ridiculous.
Exactly.
But like so they don't really have much to do in this one. But it immediately cuts to Ernie behind the counter, and he says like, "Hey, I just made a new batch of my famous chili." Yells at everyone, "Hey, everyone, it's on the house!" Which like I guess that's part of your business strategy. Give them a taste for free. So
sure, why not?
So of course these kids lose their mind and run to like oh my god, free chili!
That must have been amazing chili
in our gym.
I'm
like
starving.
People are so psyched about this freaking chili.
Exactly.
But meanwhile, Bulk and Skull are just sitting at a table, minding their own business.
They're literally not doing a thing.
Like for once, they're not really bothering anyone.
They didn't say a word. Like they were
so for some reason, he calls Kim over to grab the bowl of chili. He's like, hey, here you go, Kim. And she's trying to fight her way through this hungry mob of teenagers who want to get this chili.
Chili-crazed teenagers.
So much that she accidentally, spills it and dumps it on Bulk, who's just sitting there eating ice cream.
It ruins his ice cream. Like, I was so upset. I was like...
Not only that, like, if this is, like, freshly made chili, it's gotta be, like, scalding
it's hot. Exactly.
He's got, like, third-degree burns. I mean, Skull thinks it's hilarious, obviously.
He's laughing at him and everything, but...
And they throw this ADR line with Kim. It's like, oh, sorry, Bulk. It wasn't supposed to be on you. It was supposed to be on the house.
Oh, my God.
And then freeze frame, cut to credits.
Exactly.
It's such a weird, like, non-ending.
I feel like this justifies Bulk and Bulk being wanting to be a bully later on too. It's just
it's weird. It's like, I mean, because they're not good guys.
No,
like, let's be honest. Bulk and Skull are like really like historically not good to the Power Rangers.
Right.
At least not until later seasons where they kind of mellow out a little bit.
I need to see episodes like that because I'm actually interested in the characters of Bulk and Skull a little bit.
Right. but yeah, in this one, like you gotta feel bad. Like they're not doing anything.
No,
they're not bothering anyone. They're just having some ice cream and minding their own business.
But no, we got to get our shots in.
Right. Right. And again, it's just like I don't think they had an ending for this. So like, let's just. We got some cut footage.
That makes sense.
Makes me wonder, like, how many like takes of stuff that they do where they're just like getting these dudes messy with stuff, especially Bulk. They're always like dumping stuff on it. It's like so much slapstick comedy. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's just like how many takes of that did they do?
I didn't notice that, but you're right. It kind of did have kind of a disjointed ending, which now that I realize what's happening and everything, I guess it kind of makes sense.
Right. So. And that's your episode.
Yeah.
That's Big Sisters. So, Seamus, what did you think about that?
I liked it. I mean, it was good. I mean, it was your typical Power Ranger episode.
For sure.
The car was concerning, but
I mean, I feel like for the Rad Bug alone, I had to include this
absolutely, for sure. I mean, that feels like it's like a key element of Power Rangers history.
It really is, and they don't use the Rad Bug all that much in the future.
Mm-mm.
Like they have other stuff like the Power Eggs and the Morphin Masters, which are never referred to again.
Right.
By the way,
mm-hmm.
They do that a lot. They'll introduce these elements of the story that they just need to serve the purpose of the episode.
Right.
And that's it.
But yeah, it's just like...
But I mean, it's par for the course for Power Rangers,
yeah,
of course.
It's a kid's show. It is what it is. A lot. I forgive a lot on this show just because it's a kid's show. I mean, kids love it. It keeps their attention. I think we both mentioned it while we were watching. The pacing on this show is lightning quick.
It is. Like, they move it quickly.
It's ridiculous.
They're like, kids, pay attention.
Hey, pay attention. Your mom's trying to vacuum or something.
Right?
I don't know.
Hey, over here.
Here.
We have toy commercials to sell.
Exactly. Come buy our stuff.
We need ratings for to sell ads for breakfast cereal and toys.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best episode of Power Rangers we've seen so far, but it was definitely an episode of Power Rangers.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's all you can say. It's definitely not. Even with the Rad Bug stuff, it's not the craziest episode we've seen. Like there are some definitely.
I feel like the behind the scenes of this episode are crazier than the actual episode.
It really
itself.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they were trying to do their best to assemble something to the Sentai footage. And this is what they got.
It was just like, okay, throw it out there.
Yeah.
Next one.
There wasn't really a resolution to the whole Maria thing. Mm-mm. She just got kidnapped and got saved.
That's true.
We don't really know if she became a better person for having hung out with Kim and Trini.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So many questions.
I mean, I imagine she said she got kidnapped and she was probably taken out of the Big Sister program immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Trini and what's her name and
Kimberly
got reprimanded. Yeah. They probably got kicked out of the Big Sister program.
They're probably
let somebody get kidnapped.
They're like probably like, well, you're fired.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't even know how that, like, again, we never got like resolution to that B plot.
Nah, it is what it is.
So,
but that was Power Rangers. What was the name of this episode again?
Big Sisters.
Big Sisters.
Yes.
That had the least amount to do with the plot. But
It really did.
Exactly. But
So that's all we got. So
yeah.
hope you guys enjoyed that. We always have fun doing this stuff. So
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
If you're hearing this, it means we probably got a good reaction to the other stuff, and so we'll probably put this out if it's by request.
Exactly.
So that's probably
sure.
why. If you're hearing this, that's probably why. There are plenty of other episodes we could do. I'd love to hear, if you're listening to this, I'd love to hear requests for like specific episodes we can do. Like,
yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch.
We've already done the 2017 movie.
That's right, we did that.
So, I mean, you know, there are definitely a few that we've done already. We could do some Tommy-related episodes.
Right.
I'm sure.
When did you stop watching Power Rangers? Like, at what point? Like,
I want to say after season 2.
okay.
I think I kind of made it all the way through the end of season 2.
Right.
And then I just dropped off. Because, again, season 2, it became the Tommy show.
Ah, I see. Gotcha.
Like, it became all about Tommy.
Gotcha. That makes sense, guys.
And not only that, I was a Jason guy, and he was already off the show by that point.
Really?
By the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting to show you, like, because they managed to spread that transition over a bunch of seasons.
Really?
Or no, over a bunch of episodes, I mean. Mm-hmm. Where it's like Austin St. John, Twee Trang, and Walter Jones left the show.
Right.
And they had, like, I want to say it had to be like 7 to 10 episodes where they were like shooting around and using archive footage to doctor the stuff up.
Okay.
Until they got the replacement characters fully established and in.
That makes sense.
It was pretty amazing how they were able to do it.
That's interesting. I'd like to see how they did that.
Yeah, and you know, everything from like people doing looping for their characters and just even as a kid I could tell like something's not quite right.
Something's going on here.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting show, and yeah, if you guys want us to watch it, want us to react to more episodes, we'd definitely be happy to do it.
For sure, man. This is always fun reviewing stuff like that, and there are a lot of other things we do on this show. Obviously, we do movie reviews. That's where you mainly know Seamus from.
Yep.
I haven't really done too much of the pro wrestling stuff lately.
You have like people that you do that with and everything.
I do, but just it hasn't really been interesting enough for me to be honest
fair.
to talk about it. Like I thought we were going to do this year's WrestleMania, but it just I don't know. I just haven't been as I still watch it, but it hasn't been as overly exciting for me
Makes
to
sense.
do.
That makes sense.
But we still do that. Obviously, we do focus mainly on music. I might get a one-on-one interview with this guy one of these days.
Oh yeah,
just to interview like the panelists, the hosts, and get their backstory.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'd be happy to do that.
That's like what Chris Hardwick does on his show.
That's
like
true.
He'll interview the hosts, Matt Myra and Jonah Ray, and stuff like that. And
Maybe when I actually have something interesting going on, we can do that.
For sure. For sure. But Seamus, you're on Twitter at CelticKraut75.
Yep. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Pretty much Celtic Crowd, I think, is my Instagram handle as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can follow me there. That's kind of where I post every once in a while, maybe some memes or something or some pictures and stuff. So yeah, just follow me there. Nothing really in the works right now, kind of in between things, but I'll keep you posted.
Sure. Are you doing the Silmer Idiots with your brother?
That's on hold right now. But we got some things in the works and everything. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Seamus and his brother and his brother Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb.
Yeah, they do a podcast, talking about all things like J.R.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, but they do it. It's like it's a down to earth chat about it. It's
exactly.
A blue collar take on Tolkien.
Exactly. That's kind of the tagline. And we got about 6 episodes out. If you want to listen to that, you can find that on SoundCloud.
I still need to go back and listen to more of that stuff.
It's pretty great. We have a lot of fun with that. I think our plan now is maybe kind of do a more general talk podcast, but we don't really have anything solid right now.
Right.
So, but I'll let you know about that.
For sure, man.
Yeah, that's kind of the next step as far as, because we definitely do. I've been talking to my brother about doing some podcasting and everything like that. So it's definitely in the plans. It's just we got to get the scheduling right,
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And like I said, if you have any requests for either Power Rangers episodes for us or maybe like other movies and TV shows
for sure
to review.
Like some maybe it doesn't have to necessarily be new stuff, some older stuff you want us to review.
Because there are a lot of movies out there that I'd love to do episodes for and just almost like re-examine and be like, was it as bad as people say it was, or was it as good as people say it was? Like, there's a lot of stuff out there we could do. I mean, I wish I could do every episode of this show, but there's just way too many of them.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
But just, I mean, every episode, there's always something weird, bananas to unpack in this one. But we have a lot of fun doing it. So you can always follow me on Twitter at JackXConnor. Like me on Facebook, facebook.com/JackConnorMusic.
Right.
You can check out my band, Vertebreaker. I sing in a rock band. Check us out, facebook.com/vertebreakerband, and keep subscribing to the YouTube channel. And if this is on iTunes yet, which eventually I do want to put this on iTunes.
Yeah.
As I record this, I haven't done it yet, but hopefully one day this will be up there. But keep subscribing. Go back and listen to the other episodes, especially the other Ranger episodes for you Ranger fans out there.
Those are a lot of fun.
So we have a lot of fun doing it. Hopefully it's fun for you to listen to it. Thanks for listening. For Seamus Pouts, I'm Jack Connor. This has been the Phoenix Report. We'll see you later.